Welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm extremely excited to do this presentation with all of you. Oh, it's good to see some familiar faces and some completely unknown faces. So thank you very much for being here. Hello, Nina, Sean. It's really good. Bjorn, Vilborg, Gri, Cheryl, yeah, Ramona, all of you. So thank you for being here. It's really nice. Okay, well, I made a few slides, so I hope you guys will enjoy the presentation. This is very, very casual. You know, I'm not a big professional with all of those things, so that's going to be very casual. The most important is the quality of the information that we're going to deliver to you and transmit to you today. This is absolutely not a beginning human design webinar, so it will be pretty advanced. So if you're here to discover human design, that's not what it is about. We're going to talk about the 4 quarters. We're going to talk about how the quarters are playing an essential role for us during our day-to-day life. We're going to talk about the mutation. We're going to talk about the incarnation cross as well a little bit, so we can see how, you know, incarnation cross plays also, you know, a very, very important role in our design, because it represents 70% of who we are. You know, it's the 70% of the neutrinos that imprinted us. So we will talk about that, and that's pretty it. But that will take us through a little nice journey of an hour and a half. And at the end, we will do questions. So if all of you do have questions, I invite you to, you know, write down your questions, or you can always type your questions in the chat and I will keep an eye on the chat. But please keep your mic mute, because we may gonna start having tons of people coming in. And if everyone, you know, unmute and speak in the middle, that's going to be difficult. I think that's it. That's it for the little announcement. We are live on Facebook, and again, I repeat, this is recorded, so you guys will be able to catch up with the recording on YouTube. All right. My announcement is done. Let's go on the design now. This is the rising phoenix. You know, guys, you know that in 2027 is when we're going to have the sleeping phoenix incarnation cross. This is what is happening. This is what we're having. We're having an emergence. That's what it is. I believe the reason why you all here is because you are paying attention. You are deeply paying attention on what's going on at the moment on Earth, on planet Earth. And you guys are feeling it. You guys are feeling some sort of mental pressure, physical pressure. You guys are feeling some sort of a doubt and confusion and tons of, you know, questions and mysteries about life and what the hell am I doing? What's going on here? What am I supposed to do? This life just doesn't make sense. There's nothing that is making sense on the planet. I cannot relate anymore with the world that I'm living in. I feel such a stranger. You know, all those kind of things that are happening in the human's consciousness, because we are having a mutation, and the mutation is bringing a transformation. That's what it is. You know, that's why I call that the rising phoenix, because we are all rising out of the ash, because we are dying at the moment. We are all dying in some ways. And the death is the death of the minds, because we're going into something that is extremely passive and receptive. We are leaving, not saying that we already left almost 300 years ago in 1781, when we moved from the 7th center to the 9th center. We left the strategic and the logic. We're not strategic and logical anymore, and yet we are still living in a world that is extremely based on planification and logical and strategic and all of that. Not saying that this is bad. It's simply not the time anymore. So there's a big, big death that is happening here now on the planet that is all about letting go the old so we can build the new. And that's the rising phoenix. And we're going to talk about the 4 quarters today. So I will take you on a journey over the wheel, over the mandala wheel, so you guys can understand what is happening to us all the time, because we're extremely receptive. So the program, you're going to see by yourself. I'm going to demonstrate to you with Tom. We're going to share that with you, how the program is really working and just taking us on a beautiful journey. Sounds good to you? Thumbs up. You guys are excited? All right, cool. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, cool. Good to see all of you. It's really nice. Thank you for being here. Before I start, for those of you who don't know me, what I'm going to do quickly, because I don't want to spend too much time on that, but I believe it's very important, simply to introduce myself and talk a little bit about me, so you know at least who you are listening to. That's very important. One of the first things that Tom and I share constantly all the time is, who do you listen to? Where do you get your information? Who are you listening to? And that's very important, I believe, especially in the world of, you know, the so-called personal development and the human design things, you know, community. Most of the time, not even saying all the time, but facts are nothing else than opinion. When you listen to someone, it's just opinions. I'm giving you my own very specific perspective of the world, because I'm the only one who see the world the way I see it. And that's what we're going to do with all of you. I will share with you and demonstrate to you that because of the specific quarters and your specific incarnation cross, where you were born, a position was given to you that allow you to see the world in a very specific way. That's why facts are nothing else than opinion. That's it. Because we all see the world in a very specific way, right? So that's my point here. So let me quickly introduce myself. Then I will let Tom introduce himself. And then we go deep into the mandala wheel and the transit and all of that. Right? Oh, and we still have people coming in. There we go. All right. So my name is Benjamin Tor. You guys know me or not, but this is me. I'm a French person. You can hear my sexy, beautiful accent. If you're tired of listening my accent, you can just mute the sound and you keep looking at my handsome, good-looking French man. So, you know, at least you have some fun during the webinar. You know, okay. I'm a visionary mystic, you know, 6th line, always visionary. And I'm a shaman. I'm a breathwork facilitator. I'm a human design guide. I'm a generator 6-2, all of that, you know, tons of labels. Mostly I'm just a consciousness hacker. That's what I love doing. I love hacking consciousness, and I love looking at how I can transform things. A little bit of my background: I'm an ex-special forces military. I was a commando for a couple of years. And then I quit and I left and I started to travel the world with my very good friend Gabriel that is here. And we actually did a lot of interviews. That's one of the things that I really like doing, is interviewing people. And one of my good friend, Corey Good, we did this in Barcelona a few years ago with Gabriel. I've been doing a lot of breath work and public speakings for corporates and small businesses, and helping people, you know, with human design, shamanism, and sharing, you know, the beauty of life, and working with some celebrities, did TV show with my friend Russell Brands, and, you know, things like that. So far, this is my journey. You guys can see my design. I have channel of initiation, which is the shamanic channel of surrender, the design of a transmitter, the channel of the rhythm, perfected the form, and the channel of judgments. So in few words, you know, my incarnation cross is the left-angle cross of prevention. I was born in the quarter of mutation. So I'm all about mutation. I'm all about transformation. I'm all about death. You know, that's me. That's how I see the world, you know. Yeah, that's it. Enough about me for now. Tom, would you like to continue and talk a little bit about you and share your experience with design, and then we go into the rest?
Yes, of course. I'm Tom Pfeiffer here in Boulder, Colorado, just another pilgrim on the path, but I have been on the path since the moment I started breathing. I was pondering things that other people weren't pondering from the day I got here, okay, and wondering why I was here and what my function was here. And I have to tell you, I'm a quad right. For those of you who know what that is, I'm a completely receptive person, okay? And I'm an archetype of talent. I'm an emotional provoker, okay? So if you like being provoked, I'll find your spirit. If you don't like being provoked, we are not meant to work together. It doesn't mean anything more or anything less than that. It's not about someone being right or someone being wrong. It's about finding the right people to listen to, the right people to have listened to you. That's the first thing. Who are we listening to and why, and how is that actually working for you? So it's a very intriguing thing today. We're going to talk about the 4 directions. We're going to talk about the 4 quarters. And in the 4 quarters is your very incarnation cross is laid out in that. It cuts the wheel into 4 quarters. If you look at your design in the wheel, you see something rather profound where the majority of you is at. Ben, could you put your chart up by any chance and put it in the wheel?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ben is a remarkable example of it. I mean, he's a 6'2", so we know he's a role model, okay? And if you look at the name of his son, it's the role model. Well, look at where he's at. He's on. That's your whole chart?
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, take a look at it. You have a tremendous amount in the quarter of initiation, okay? You have very little in civilization, just enough to touch base with the world, okay? You have not so much in the first half of duality, and look at the bulk of who this man is. He's in the second half of duality. In other words, did you find a way to bond with people? Did you find a way to be with other people? Okay. You know, the breakthrough, the 6th line of the breakthrough, it's called fusion. It's about bringing everything together. One of the things that I have tremendously enjoyed about Ben is he brings a lot of things together that all work together. Human design is the profound mechanism whereby we can bring all of this stuff together and present it to you. He's not competitive. He's a wonderfully cooperative human being. And I've been waiting 28 years to find someone who is interested more in cooperation than competition. Competition based on fear, that's what we're leaving. Cooperation based upon the desire to really thrive rather than just thrive, based upon love, this is where we're heading. You can't take a larger step than that. I was born before my time, as most 6'2s were, but our time will be here in approximately 5.5 years. That's something to ponder. What it's going to be like to be able to live in a 6-line milieu based upon the big picture, inclusive of everyone, rather than a first-line fear-based milieu based upon who can win the rat race. The only reward you'll ever get for winning the rat race is you're the fastest rat. And I think we can do a good deal better than that as human beings. Our origin was animal, but our destiny is not. So that's the opening salvo. And Ben here, you can see that based upon the concentration, he's here to get all the information and then bring in the mutation. He's in the quarter of mutation. His very function is to mutate others to the highest possible principles. You'll see that over time. Those of you who know Ben already know that, and those of you who are first experiencing Ben will find that out. And this is something that Ben and I share. We're not history buffs. We're interested in what's possible that the killer monkeys haven't even considered yet. And that is what's coming. So there you have the intro, and I'm going to turn it back over to Ben to let him be in his flow. And there you go.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you for this nice introduction. All right, so this is what we're going to take a look today. Let me see. I guess a good flow to start. So I really have a logical journey for you to really grasp the information that I'm going to share with you. Also, don't expect to understand everything. That's why we have a recording. So you can get back to the recording and do what we call space repetition. By, you know, spacing and repeating, you always get more information, and you always get, you always go deeper. So by listening over and over, you will get more information. So don't worry if you miss things and you don't understand. I guess the best way to start is to start with this little quote from Ra. I know it's a little bit long, but you guys will understand where I'm taking you. And the first thing that is very important is this one. We are designed to be nothing but receptors. That's what we are. We are designed to be nothing but receptors. We are extremely receptive. Receptive to what? The consciousness field that we are living in other words, the neutrinos. That's why paying attention to the webinar that we're doing today can be a life-changing for you. Truly. I read, what is passenger consciousness? In human design, we talk a lot about this. We are passenger consciousness, but what really does it mean? What does this mean? It is simply the recognition of reception. Being a passenger consciousness, it's simply allowing yourself to be receptive. It is about accepting our limitation, that we are limited and we are nothing else than receptive. At the moment we are receptive to the consciousness field, that's when we are clicking in, literally, we are clicking in with the entire universe. So when the universe, it's like, you know, it's like a watch, you know, those very, very old watch, like in the 18th centuries, the beginning of the 19th centuries, there's a full mechanism that is inside, you know, those wheels, and it's clicking, and the whole watch is working all together. The totality is working and giving you the time, right? So that's kind of the same. We are all this little mechanism with the universe, and all together we create the totality. But as long as you don't want to be this passenger consciousness, as long as you think you're a creator and you want to create, I don't know what, you know, out of your little minds, you're going against this entire machine that is the universe. So that's what it means to be a passenger consciousness. It is simply the recognition of being receptive. The magic of passenger consciousness is to be able to recognize the movement of the consciousness field through the crystal without distortion, without the distortion of your not self personality that doesn't permit the vast majority of human beings to ever have access to what lies beneath. Do you understand what it means here? When you have access to what lies beneath, which is tones, colors, your motivation, the cognition, the deep aspects of yourself, your purpose, living your purpose. I mean, this is so cool for me to do that. I'm fully living my purpose by doing this webinar. My incarnation cross is what? The left-angle cross of prevention. Prevention. Look at what I'm doing. I'm doing prevention. It's amazing. I don't even need to force or to do anything. It is just happening by being receptive of the quarter that we are here right now. Look at the transit right now. The cross, the quarter, the gate right now, the creative, the gate of self-expression. Look at what I'm doing. I'm being creative. I mean, I just made the slide an hour ago. I created a slide an hour ago. It's self-expression. 6th line, I choose the date. I choose today. I knew it will be a 6th line day. 1st hexagram, creative. It's my day. 6th line, I'm objective. I'm giving clarity in creative expression. I'm receptive to the transit. I'm receptive to this giant clock that is turning in the universe. I'm working with those forces instead of going against the flow and creating some distortion that will lead me ultimately to frustration, to pain, to suffering, to anger or bitterness, or all of that. So I continue. When you think about passenger consciousness, you have to see that this is just a receptive mechanism. It is a filtering mechanism. It is the very openness of us that makes us so special. Without the openness, we are not able to do what we do, which is to interpret the phenomena. We will not be able to do it. This is the way we are built. When you are receptive, you're sending a vibration, you're sending a message to the world, to the universe, that you are ready for what's ready for you. And you get in tune with your intuition. Everyone knows that. When you guys say, oh, I just have the feeling, I know it, oh, but I trust my intuition. What do you think it is? On a very logical way, it is simply a mechanism that tune you with the universe. That's it. And that's what we're going to talk about today. That's why I want to read that to you, because we're going to look together how over the 365 days during 1 year, one solar return, we are extremely receptive to the initiation, to the civilization, to the duality, and then to the mutation. And then we go back to hexagram 41, which is the new year, the start codon in the genetic sequence of the human being, and we go again for another year. So the entire Mandela wheel, the entire program, the matrix, is taking us every 365 days around this wheel. And if you are receptive, you can play at your best advantage the program, those days, those big theme of initiating yourself, of civilization, of duality, bonding, letting go, mutation, dying, all of that. And you can continue to thrive and thrive and thrive and thrive. That's a little introduction, and we're going to take a look at right now the transit, and then we go into the quarters. Tom, anything else you would like to say or add? Or
very intriguing. The moon, just as we started, or just before we started, was in the 41st hexagram, 6th line. That is the moon telling us that we're up for something new today. How interesting is that? We're here to create something new. If you look at the end of the quarter of mutation that we are entering right now, it's a rather interesting progression of gates that we are conditioned to pay attention to, okay? So at the end, we come to the inner truth, the 61, and then we find our limitations, and based upon recognizing the inner truth and the limitations of whatever that is for us or is not for us, we seek something new, the 41. When we seek something new, this is actually the beginning of the year as the stars have it, as opposed to what some English king proclaimed to be the truth. I mean, the English king said the sun never sets in his empire. I've been there, it sets there every evening. So I don't know that I want to take him for a high degree of authority, but the 41, looking for something new, where does that take us to? The 19, what do we intend to approach? And then we start this new quarter, and look at what it is. The 13th hexagram, okay? The brotherhood of man, the gate of listening. What's our first principle? Who do you listen to? Who have you been listening to? What are you going to listen to? Then so we move into the quarter of initiation and we initiate things. Wonderful, okay? And we hit the next quarter, we come to the receptive. There's your teachability index. That you're willing to change. If you want your life to change, you have to be willing to change the things that are in your life. Are you receptive? Okay, rather intriguing. Then we move along into the next quarter. It's not just about initiating something, it's about making it better. We're an evolutionary species. We get a certain piece of information and then we try to improve upon that information. And the way it used to be was all competitive. It was, and that's why we spent so much time on battlefields. That's why there's so much fear. So then we go to the third quarter of duality. What are we trying to do? Figure out how to get along. Okay. What is that? Your training balance scale. Are you balanced? Is it for just you? Are you trying to be the fastest rat and win the rat race? Or are you actually involved in trying to produce something called mutual success, where it's for all of us? It's not competition, it's cooperation. Then we go into the quarter we're in right now, the quarter of mutation, the realm of Sirius. It's all rather beautiful, and there'll be a lot more information given about this over time. But the 4 steps of learning are in the mutation. Did you pay attention? Did you actually pay attention? Did you make use of the new information? Or are you just interested in keeping things the way they are? Everybody says, oh, we want to go back to normal. I'm telling you, normal is just a setting on the dryer. It's not going to do anything for you. We're trying to move along a path of evolution. And we see that this thing repeats itself every year, but it's moving through space. So it's not a circle. It's not a dog chasing his tail. It's a spiral, just like our genetics. So interesting to note, what you're looking at here when you're looking at design is you're looking at your genetics. You're looking at the thumbprints of your maker and how that impacts you. You're finding your purpose. You're finding the highway on which you travel. This is all in the 4 quarters. The ancients, the first thing they always did was welcome the 4 directions. We're trying to get back to what we have been trained away from. That's the purpose of human design. Get back to being yourself rather than having listened to some guy in Boston and following his laws and thinking he's the authority. No, you have an internal guidance system. Mm-hmm. We're trying to get your hands on your internal guidance system to operate correctly as yourself, to make the contribution to this mutual success based upon love rather than fear that we're all headed to. So that's enough for now. Back to the flow of Ben.
Thank you. Yeah, Tom. You know, Tom mentioned we call the 4 directions. That's how we find the 4 quarters. So the beginning of the quarter of initiation, which is the first step, is here, the hexagram 13. Then we have the hexagram, the second hexagram. Then we have the 7 hexagram, sorry. And then we have the first hexagram. Those 4 hexagrams are the cross of the Sphinx. The cross of the Sphinx out of the G center. Everything that is related is with the G center. The G separates the mandala wheel in 8 equal parts or 4 equal parts that will divide the 4 quarters. So all the gates are in the G center. The 13, the 2nd, the 7, and the 1st. This is the cross of the Sphinx. And before the cross of the Sphinx, the 1933, the 4424, it's the cross of the 4 ways. The 4 ways. The shaman that is calling the 4 sacred directions, calling the spirit of the East, the spirit of the South, the spirit of the West, and the spirit of the North. There's a deep, deep, deep connection with nature in the body graph, in our genetic. We have a deep connection to nature. It's very, very profound. And we start the quarter of initiation, as Tom said, the gate 13, listening. And I believe I'm going to do for every first gate of each quarter a Zoom like that. Today, we entered in the quarter of mutation. We are here, hexagram first. We left the duality. Over the last 3 months, we all have been challenged. The way we bound with one another, the way we've bound with ourselves. That was the duality, the quarter of duality. That was a purpose that is fulfilled through bounding. How do we bound here? Quarter of duality, purpose fulfilled through relationship. And the most important relationship is the boat, the relationship, the boat that you are building with yourself. It's a quarter that is measure for measurement. We left that. It was difficult. Maybe you guys had a lot of difficulties with yourself, a lot of challenge with yourself, how you show up for yourself, how you connect with yourself, how can you take responsibility for yourself, credit for yourself. You know, the gate 50 is here. The gate 50, which is the gate of the value, which is the fear out of the spleen of responsibilities. Can I take my responsibility for my life? So duality was all about bounding with yourself. So much can be said. That's not the theme anymore. I want to focus on the quarter of mutation because this is where we are entering today, the last 2-3 days. And that's what we're going to have for the next 3 months. Every quarter lasts 3 months. 3 times 4, 12. Every quarter, divide 1 year in 3 months. Every quarter also mark the equinox and the solstice. We have here the solstice of winter, hexagram 10. In the mutation, we have here the opposition in the wheel, hexagram 15, the solstice of summertime. We have here the equinox of fall with the hexagram 46, and we have the equinox opposition in the wheel with the 25, the equinox of spring. Do you guys know what those 4 hexagrams are? They are the vessel of love. They are the 4 gates of love in the design. The body graph is divided in 4 sacred directions based on love. Can you see that? So now what is interesting for us is that we are entering in the quarter of mutation. We're going to have 3 months that is a purpose that is fulfilled through transformation. And the mystical theme of this quarter is death. We're entering in a quarter where we're going to be challenged with our creativity, where we're going to have breakthrough, the gate 43, a lot of breakthrough to realize maybe what we have been bounding, what we have been civilized and going out into the world of the form this year, what we started, what we initiated, what we measure, what we build, how we have been bounding, all of that, we're having breakthrough, and we're going to be ready to let it go, to bring it to mutation. Do I want to continue to have those experiences? What is the quarter of mutation? It is about integration. It is about integrating in ourselves. That's why when Tom shared with you the 4 basics, initiation is who do you listen to? Civilization is your teachability index. Duality is your training balance scale. And the mutation is the 4th step of learning. What did you learn this year that you want to integrate? You're going into a mutation, you're going into a transformation because you had an amazing experience the entire year. So now you're ready to integrate on a deep cellular level that will bring to you the mutation. You shifted from unconsciously incompetent. You didn't know that you didn't know. You shifted to unconsciously incompetent to consciously incompetent. You know that you didn't know. And then you started to work on it. You started to initiate yourself. You started to build things. You started to connect with people. So you moved to consciously competent. You're consciously competent, applying the technique, making effort to change things in your life, to be more receptive to whatever the case is. And then you move to the 4th final step, which is unconsciously competent. You become an autopilot. You integrate, you digest, The whole year is sink into your cells. You go into your mutation. With the 43, you have the breakthrough. You go into the 14, the gate of power. You have power, the possession of great measure. Then you go to gate 34, the power. The 9, the possibility of focusing on details. The 5th, the rhythm. You start getting a new rhythm for yourself, mutate your old patterns that you don't want to go, you let it all go. The 26 T cells, you kill everything that is not good for you. Ideas, behavior, the gate 10, boom. Solstice, winter solstice, we deep in the mutation. Winter, our ancestors, the gods, were referring winter as the best time of the year to do introspection, to withdraw, to hibernate, to digest the year, to slow down, to really slow down. And then slowly you go, back, the joy, knowing what is worth fighting for, have it, the drive to return to the inner truth, to accept our limitation, and boom, the fantasy to start again to approach our needs. And here we go, back into the initiation, back into a new year. Slowly the winter ends, and we're coming towards the spring, and slowly we're going into springs. Days are becoming longer, we get more sun, we're coming out of the mutation. We had so much clarity on what we wanted to let go, on what we want to continue to transmit, to have. And it's a spiral. It doesn't go in a cycle. It's a spiral, like the DNA. It's an helices. That's the quarter that we are entering right now. It's your ability to go deep inside of you, to slowly slow down, to be receptive, to pay attention, to bring this mutation, to take an advantage of what the transit has to offer to you. I know I've been forcing the last maybe month and a half during the duality, forcing of trying to get a new place to live, to move out, to do this, to do that, things that was absolutely no relevance with the duality. The duality, I usually have yes, I struggle during the duality. This is not my quarter. I wasn't born under the quarter of duality. I was born under the quarter of mutation. I'm all about mutation. I'm not so much duality. I mean, I like connecting with people, but ultimately, this is not my purpose. I don't mind. I have me. I love me. The rest doesn't really matter. I'm all about mutation. When I connect with people, it's not to become best friend. I don't give a fuck. When I connect with people, I'm interested of seeing if I can bring a transformation, a mutation to this person or not. I'm not in the, I have nothing to do with duality. I don't see the world through the duality. My partner, she's all about duality. She was born here in the quarter of duality. She's all about bounding and having the relationship with the partner and blah, blah, blah. And I look at her and I'm like, gosh, I'm so not like that. I don't care. I don't even care if we're together. What I'm interested is, can we bring transformation? Can we have a mutation here? That's what interests me. So do you guys understand how fundamentally we are deeply different on a deep level? When we look at the design, of someone, okay, we can see channels, we can see the type, and we can see a lot of things. It's really nice. But then if you become receptive, if you become this passenger consciousness, you will see the magic. You will see the magic without any distortion, that the consciousness field is taking you through the mandala wheel and you are experiencing life. But ultimately, this is where you were born. Look at your quarter. This is where you were born. And that's how you are designed to see life, to experience life. And right now, we have the quarter of mutation. This is where we're going. In 3 months, I will do the same webinar for free for everyone. And we will talk about the initiation, because that's where we will go. But for now, we just left the duality. We left the duality with what? The gate 44. Remember the 4424 and the 1933, they are the incarnation cross of the 4 ways. The gate 44 was what? Coming to meet. The gate of alertness. We started the quarter of duality with the hexagram 7. The 7 is the role of interaction of the self. It is about letting down the mask, the left angle cross of the mask. Can we let down the mask? Can we remove our mask and finally be ourselves? That was the quarter of duality. Tom is born. Tom was born under the quarter of duality. Listen to him talking. It's all about relationship. It's all about how do we bond with one another. It's all about, I don't want competition anymore. I want cooperation. I want to work all together. That's what he sees. When you listen to me talking, it's about what? I'm all about mutation. I'm all about them fuckers. Can we transform something here? Are you ready to fucking let go the shit? You know? You can hear someone speak his design. It's fascinating. So when we start, we let go the mask to what? To go to the 44, which is coming to meet the gate of alertness. It's alerting us to enter into the mutation with the first hexagram, the creative. Can I express myself? Can I mutate and transform and finally express myself? I mean, look at the name of this hexagram here, the creative, the gate of self-expression, right? Well, let me move this up. The gate of self-expression, the creation as a primal force, the energy potential to manifest inspiration without limitation. That's the beginning of the quarter. And the end of it, the 19 approach, the gate of wanting. Now that we have been mutated, now that we transform everything at the end of the quarter of mutation, how are we approaching the initiation? What do I want? What do I need? That all things are interrelated is apparent and manifested through the action of approach. How do I approach my need? This is part of the channel of synthesize, a design of being sensitive to my need. That's the next 3 months. The next 3 months, so to look at how you can get a glimpse of the energy of the next 3 months, you look at the first gate of the quarter and the last gate of the quarter. And that's the glimpse, the taste that we're gonna have. How can we express and be creative through transformation and mutation? For what? For approaching what we need. So those 3 months of winter are extremely good for you to reevaluate everything, to let go what you don't want, to mutate and transform, and to approach your needs with a fresh eye on what you need, on what you want, what is correct for you. That's the quarter of mutation. Tom, anything you would like to say? I can see some questions in the chat. Let me see. How do you know which quarter you were born under? Oh, very good question. Is it based on your incarnation cross and conscious sun? Yes. So to find your quarter, you look at your sun personality. So let me take an example with mine. My sun personality. So you want to look at your incarnation cross here, but personality. My sun personality is the gate 10, 6th line, hexagram 10, 6th line. So I look at this. Where is the hexagram 10? Well, I know that the hexagram 10 is the solstice, winter solstice. So it's here in the mutation, and I can see it's here. Okay, so this is how you know in which quarter you were born. Yeah. Tom, anything else you want to?
Yes, yes. So what's the purpose of the quarters? The quarter in which you are born gives you a tremendous amount of information as to how you find your purpose for being here. I mean, Ben has made it exceptionally clear. My purpose is to mutate. I mean, I'm interested in having relationships with people that are open to mutation, period. Period. Okay. And it's really nice to have a role model in that position. Okay. Nice to be mutated by somebody who has some understanding of the difference between talking about something and living it. Okay. If you can walk your talk, then you're actually living it. So, you know, what a trip. So quarter of initiations based upon what you initiate. You're going to find your purpose based upon what you initiate. Where does that start? Who are you listening to? And why are you listening to them? And ultimately, the way to listen, who you really want to listen to is yourself. So when somebody on the outside is saying something, if it resonates with you, it's for you. If it doesn't resonate with you, it's for someone else. Not about good, bad, right, wrong. It's a question of, is it for you? Okay. And then when you come to the second quarter, you're going to improve upon what you initiated. That's the whole point. That's the whole point. I mean, you know, Henry Ford invented the Model A. Are you still driving them? No, we'll be driving Teslas here before long. Okay. You change vehicles all the time. What are you receptive to? Okay. We want to improve our situation. All the gates of the throat are there. What are they trying to express? They're trying to express the mutation they received in the quarter of mutation. Look at, if you have a 23, that's in the quarter of civilization, but look how it's grounded in the 43. The capacity to make explanation. Where is that? The mutation. Other than that, if you're not ever learning anything because you're not receptive to anything, what do we got? Groundhog Day. You get up every morning knowing nothing, repeating the same thing you've always done. Keeping the story alive, it'll eat you alive. History, his story, it's the way it used to be. We're not interested in the way it used to be. It was fine for its time, but we're moving forward. We're interested in where it's going to. So then we come to duality, okay? Get the mask off. How can two not selves in costumes ever get to know one another? There'll be no coming to meet if you're hiding from one another all the time. I mean, this whole pandemic, I find the thing hilarious, okay? To me, it's absolutely hilarious, okay? It's caused us to stop doing what we were doing, pay attention to why we were doing it, and wonder if we want to keep doing that. That's what it's all about. That's what it's really all about.
Yeah,
Okay.
and what was really interesting as well, I don't know if you guys know that, but when the pandemic started last year, it actually started here in the quarter of initiation, and it started in the hexagram 36, which is the gate of crisis. That's when the pandemic started, the gate of crisis. And then what we had after a week, we had everyone. So that's when the lockdown started, you know, gate 36, crisis. Then we had after a week, the 25, the innocence. Everyone returned to the innocence. We started, you know, being locked down, staying at home. We started to find our innocence again. And after 2 weeks, what did we have? We had tons of opinions. The gate 17 opinions. Everyone started on social media sharing their opinions on whatever the pandemic was, you know? And then what do we have? We had the 21. What is the 21? The control for resources. After 3 weeks of lockdown, everyone started to freak out when it comes about money, financial resources, etc., etc. And I mean, we can just go, we can see the whole things all around the wheel. That's why I started with telling you we are nothing else than receptors. Can you be receptive? Can you be receptive to the beauty? This is a symphony, a beautiful symphony from the universe, playing music. That's what it is. We are playing music. Can you be receptive? So please, right now in the chat, can you let me know what is your incarnation cross and in which quarter you were born? And for those of you who are on Facebook watching the live, please just leave in the comments. Even if you are watching the recording, guys, please leave in the comments below now. What is your incarnation cross and which quarter were you born? So we have an idea of who you guys are, and I'm gonna read all of them. Oh, so I have a Katie. She's a left angle cross of spirit. Wow, amazing. 59, 55. So born in the quarter of duality, bounding. Gabriel, left angle cross of dedication, 43, 23. Yeah, awesome. Vilborg, like right angle cross of Maya, civilization. Yeah, Gabriel, you're in the mutation like me. Gabriel and I, we're good friends for 6 years almost now. And so born under the quarter of mutation, yeah. Ramona, quarter of civilization. We have duality, we have duality, we have Nina, civilization, right angle cross of consciousness. Nice. We have initiation with Gree. Oh yeah, Gree, you sleeping phoenix. Tom, yeah, Tom, you the cross of migration, yeah. And then right angle cross of consciousness. Nice, nice. Quarter of initiation. Cool, cool. Yeah. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we have a lot of a right angle cross. Yeah. All right. What else can I say? Okay, so we talk about the quarters. We gave you a good view on all of them. So I hope you got some good insights about those 4 quarters. That's where you find your purpose. Another thing that is interesting to have a look is, again, on your personality. The sun is your life force expression, right? The opposition in the wheel will be your earth, and your earth is what is grounding you. And usually it's on the opposite side. So if you take a look like on mine, for example, I was here the 10, but the way I'm going to ground my mutation, it's in the civilization. I ground my mutation because that's my sun personality, and I ground that into the quarter of civilization here with the world, my gate 15, which is the love of humanity. How I can mutate, or like how I ground my gift, how I share my gift into the world. It's with humanity. So it's with the civilization. It's to build. It is about building. Building what? A new way for humanity. That's why I'm so passionate about human design, about the HUB27, this community that we are building, those houses that we are building around the world, that all of that, it's because I'm grounding my sun personality mutation into my gate 15, the love of humanity, in the quarter of civilization. So that's something that you can do. You can do that with your chart. So look at where is your sun, and then you take the earth, which is the opposition in the wheel. So you take the earth, opposition in the wheel, and you look at where and how you ground your purpose. Right? Fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah. If you get the joke about all the mutation is designed to change civilization. That's the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can look at the cross of the vessel of love and see what's there. You know, it's really quite beautiful. The Sphinx, the G center, it's all about direction. And what's the direction? All about love. When are we going to learn to cooperate with one another? That's the Sphinx.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, very beautiful. Yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was like, wow, yeah, the
You're seeing
Jeep.
the thumbprints and the fingerprints of your maker.
Mm-hmm.
It's really amazingly beautiful to see. There's, there's so much we could say today. I mean, this class could go on for a year and a half.
Mm-hmm.
But the point is not to make the forest so dense with trees that you can't see. It comes off a little bit at a time, okay? It comes off a little bit at a time. And we learn through repetition. And we learn through something else called experience. Well, what's repetition? Logic. What's experience? The abstract.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all based upon the mutation. I mean, the logical and the abstract are here to contribute to the mutation. We're an evolutionary species, folks. And the joke, the biggest, most mystical thing you'll ever hear in your life is that our future is our past racing towards us. We came from someplace and we're trying to get back to it. We're just visitors here. Just passing through, riding this mud ball through this particular region of space right now, learning what there is to learn here. In a different place, upright bipeds would have a completely different design.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't look like this. There might be 14 planets. There might be all kinds of other influences. So this is just about our design, but how wonderful it is to be able to see who you are and then be who you are. You may find you actually love that person. And that the majority of the conflict in your life was you were always told to be something other than that. As I said, it's not about what Ben and I say. It's not about what anybody outside of you says. It's about whether what you heard resonated with you somewhere. If that resonated, then they're speaking to you. And this whole pandemic, we get to sit here and stare in one another's faces for an hour or 2 or 3 hours. Try to do that in a room full of people. It's impossible to do that in a room full of people. This whole process is brought to break down the old so that we can move towards the new. You can't steer a parked car. There's got to be movement.
Yeah.
And if you're going to move in the right direction, you're going to have your hands on your steering wheel, not mine, not Ben's, not Swami Two-Car Garage's. Yours. Steer your own vehicle. And what's the passenger supposed to do? Look out the windows. Watch the movie.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. I would like to invite Cheryl if Cheryl, you have anything to say. But before that, I just add a little comments. But look, another way of looking at it, when the pandemic started. So keep in mind, it was in 2020. It takes 7 years for cells to regenerate in our body. It was 7 years before the mutation in 2027, when the entire mandala will click and we will move out of the cross of planning into a new cycle of 400 years, the cross of the sleeping phoenix. It started into the initiation. We were initiated to how we have been building the worlds. So the pandemic, that's what we learned. We learned initiation. We learn building things. We learn how to connect differently with one another. We had a mutation last winter. Now we had another initiation again with all the vaccine and just the world. Look at the world. How the world is moving through this. Do you really believe you are in control here? Do you really believe anyone is in control here? There's no choice. The world is moving us. The universe is moving us through those big quarters constantly. And I would like to invite Cheryl. She's a projector 6'2", and I think you have the 4323, Cheryl, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I have it in my
you always have a good breakthrough or insight. So if you have anything you would like to say, please, I invite you, and feel free to go.
Well, for me, the insight I got personally is because I'm from quarter of initiation, and I have the gate 13, listening. And for me, during my classes, it's all about what I share is listen to your authority, listen to yourself, listen to your body, listen to what you're saying. And I thought it's very interesting. And it's it makes so much sense because it's purpose through the mind. And I was always, still wondering, thinking, how does that work? How do I express it? And for me, that was very insightful. I really enjoyed this presentation of you, Ben and Tom. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. And
do you want to share anything else? Did you have any?
After we can keep the rest for the end. Is that okay?
Yes, of course.
Awesome. Awesome. All of that can be summarized in this little sentence that Ra wrote. The witness returns through the womb to build and bound, make more, measure, and die. That's the journey of a human being. That's the journey of the passenger consciousness. Here, quarter of initiation. The purpose that is fulfilled through the mind. The witness to return. The witness is returning in the world of the form, initiated to fulfill his purpose through the mind. Then he's moving into the quarter of civilization, connecting with civilization, the womb to the room, building, purpose fulfilled through the form. Then he's going into measure for measure, the quarter of duality, the purpose that is fulfilled through the relationship. He's measuring after being a witness, using his mind, building into the form, measuring the duality of connecting with relationship to finally let go and transform. Let go, die, the sight and die, to let go and transform through the mutation, so he can empower himself and grow and come back again as a new man or new woman and continue the cycle of evolution. Can you see the beauty of the quarters? Can you see that each of you have a very, very specific role? And that's one of the first things that I learned. It was so hard for my mind to let go of that. Human design isn't moralistic. It is not. My mind always wants to measure and see the world through this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is good. And I was always trying to get people to see my point of view. I was like, why you don't understand? This is the way, this is how it is. Then I realized facts are nothing else than opinion. Human design life, it's not moralistic. It's just what it is. That's it. But the point is, does this thing is correct for me? Does this person is correct for me? It's all about correctness. I know we have a fractal line. If I'm not part of your fractal line, you're not going to listen to me. You're not going to take class with me. You're not going to learn with me. I'm just not part of your fractal line. And I know I don't need to go out and do tons of marketing. I know I don't need to go out and try to get everyone interested. I know that my fractal line will come to me. Your fractal line will come to you. You will get the right people, the people who are correct for you, who are traveling the same journey. They will come. It's a mechanic. It really is. Tom, is anything you would like to say? I think we're pretty good. It's been an hour, a little bit more. I'm happy.
But a comment about the concept of death.
Yeah.
It's like a snake shedding its old skin.
Yeah.
It's the snake with the tail in its mouth. Every end is another beginning. Okay. So we're not talking about dying as much as we're talking about leaving the body. Because what's alive in you is not the body. The body is the vehicle. What's alive in you is the passenger. Okay. So that's much can be said about that beyond that, and we'll get around to it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this misnomer that we are human beings that may or may not choose a spiritual existence. But that's not what is. That's an opinion. What is that we are spirit beings incarnated into the form, into the meat, for a temporary experience that we refer to as human. It's not the totality of reality. This is the thing to understand about all this. When we talk about death, we're talking about completing a cycle to begin a new cycle. That's what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be expanded to many, many levels, not just about this lifetime, but many, many levels, all right? You know, we have not been quarantined for a couple of years. We've been quarantined for 250,000 years. That's something to ponder, okay? Why we live in such nonsense, okay? Because we haven't been getting the just is, the idea of what is. It just is. It's not about whether it's good or bad. It's whether it is or is not. And when something is for you, when you hear it, it goes in deeply. You resonate with it. In a perfect world, Ben created a 6'2" community. In a perfect world, there'd be a community for every profile. And people would go to their specific college to get the information that's actually correct for them. That's not to say that you can't give collective information to everyone, but really personal information, our genetics are set up the same way music is. We love resonance, we love harmony. We're not interested in dissonance, which is what we have. That's what we're leaving. We're leaving the dissonance to get back to harmony and resonance. Mm-hmm. So anyway, many, many things to ponder here. We're saying so much that you could spend a week on anything that we say, but that's not the point. The point is to get the simplicity of it. What we really need to know, we learned in kindergarten. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Be nice, be fair, be kind, be inclusive, simple things. As soon as we get out of this fear, that's what we'll be doing.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Well, when I have questions, what are your thoughts on having many activation in a different quarter other than your birth quarter? It's a good question. You know, what are your thoughts on having many activation in a different quarter other than your birth quarter? I don't have particular thought on that. Tom, anything you, because I can see Ramona as well kind of ask the same questions.
Yes, it's a very valid question, but the thing you want to remember is that your sun and your earth, consciously speaking, is 70% of who and what you are. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So all these, you know, you've got the nouns and the verbs, and all the rest of it's just adjectives. The noun is who you are, the verb is what you're going to do. Okay, so that 70% carries a lot of weight. Also, another thing, you look at your profile. The activations in your design that are very meaningful to you are the ones that are harmonic or resonant with your two profiles. If you're a 6'2", the 1s and the 4s are not that interesting to you. But the 3s and the 6s and the 2s and the 5s, those are going to be larger activations. So it's not just quantity, it's quality. So just bear in mind that the moment you're looking at your sun earth, that's 70% of who and what you are. Mm-hmm. So that's going to carry a lot of weight. Good question. I hope a good answer.
Yeah. Thank you, Tom. Yeah. Let's see. It's been an hour and 10 minutes, almost an hour and 15 minutes. What about taking 5 minutes for maybe questions? So if you guys have some questions, I'm pretty happy with my presentation. I really wanted to talk about the quarters, to initiate this webinar that I feel I have energy. I'm responding to do that every 3 months, to just talk about the new quarter we're entering in. So every 3 months, I will try to do a free webinar like that. So we can, if Tom, I believe Tom will also be with me, and Cheryl, and we will have Gabriel and all of the rest of the hub members. So I'm happy with what I say today. I don't have more to say. We can take a little moment for some questions, And then I will share with you how you can continue to keep the momentum of paying attention and living your design, because I know that right now you focus for an hour, but at the moment we're going to turn off the webinar, you right back into the mind's game. You're going to be right back into the jungle, right back into the zoo. And it's difficult if you're alone to keep the momentum of being receptive, of being a passenger, and to remind yourself, wait a second, that's the quarter of mutation. That's the background frequency. So until you really are unconsciously competent, which is on autopilot, you don't even need to think about it. It's autopilot. It's going to be hard for you to keep a momentum. So I will share with you some technique and some resources that are available for you to keep the momentum with human design, especially if you are interested to live this information. Questions? Okay, go ahead, please. Julie, I'm a left angle cross of incarnation. What does this mean with shaman and Sphinx number? With shaman, nothing. With Sphinx number, yeah, that's the cross of yeah, that's the Sphinx. Oh, no, yeah, that's the Sphinx. The 24, 44, 13, 7. But it is a left angle. So I believe it's the left angle cross of the mask, right? So that's it. That's your cross. The shaman, the only one channel that is speaking about shamanism is the 2551. That's the genetic channel that is referred to the mystic, the shaman. Yeah, do you guys have any questions, comments, observation? Feel free to write them down, and we can take a little moment about that. No questions. Let me see if on Facebook some people have some questions. Did you like the video today? Yeah, give me a thumbs up. So I actually can see if you guys like it or not, and if you don't like it, well, I'm not gonna do anymore. But if you do like it, I will do more. Very simple. Yeah, cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, any more questions or comments, observation? No? Let's see, on Facebook, no?
There's no such thing as a dumb question, folks. Every question is a contribution. So if you're the least bit curious about anything, put it out there. It gives Ben and I something to respond to. Notice that's what Ben and I do. I give him something to respond to. He gives me something to respond to. That's how this works. Yeah, totally.
Well, oh yes, someone write. Yeah. Can you? Well, I like when people write down the question, if you don't mind. But yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm not so much of a writer, and I don't want to write novels, but I'll be very short.
Yeah,
I really like your presentation, guys. You make a fantastic team, and I'm quite I'm quite pleased that I join you. It's the first time. I have a question related with what Tom said earlier about. And I get that we need to get the relevant information in groups, and yeah, it's about the profile, isn't it? So 6 3s, 1 3s all together. Okay, but my question is, okay, we get that information, but we still have to live with all the others. So we get that correct information. That puts us in harmony with who we truly are. We really are. But then we still not going to live our lives in a group of, you know, the same profiles. Yeah, we have to interact with the others.
Thank you for bringing up that question, Beatrice. It is an incredibly good question. That's what community is about, where we come together and figure out how to work with one another. Vive la différence. If we were all the same, what would be the point? I mean,
boring.
Yeah, It's boring as hell. Everybody has a point of view to bring to the table. In a competitive arena, we tend to use that point of view to negate someone else's point of view. That's not its function. Its function is, how can we see these two things working together? There's community. You see what I'm saying? So vive la différence. Everybody brings a point of view. I'll listen to your point of view. If you listen to my point of view, then we get a scan of the view. And if we keep doing that, we actually get to see the view. We get to see what is, as opposed to a limited point of view. A point of view is not the same as the view. So we all have, it's like a diamond, okay? It's a cloudy rock until you put all those facets on it. Our differentiation is what causes that cloudy rock to be brilliant. That's why everybody's voice has a contribution to make. Every single voice has a contribution to make. And each and every time somebody speaks up, no matter what the hell they have to say, it gives us something to respond to. And it's not just Ben and I responding, it's all the generators responding. And the projectors are going, wow, can I feel recognized by that or not? And the manifestors are saying, will that have an impact that would be of value or not? And the lunatics, the reflectors, are just standing there watching the whole thing and laughing. That's a topic for another thing. But yes, you bring up a very good point. We're not here to be homogenized.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, homogenization wasn't good for milk. It damn sure isn't good for people. So the beauty is in the difference. We're not looking for conformity. We're looking in unity of all that difference. Ben's very different from mine, and I'm very different from him. And we discovered that difference when we were together. And we come to respect the difference. But who you're really going to want to play music with is people who are attuned to you. What's the first thing musicians do when they come together to play music? The very first thing they do, tune their instruments. The people you're in tune with, you can have incredible music with. The people you have resonance with, the people you have harmony with, the people that are dissonant, they're not bad. They play music with different people. And you might go to that concert with those people and go, wow, that's beautiful. I never heard anything like that before. There's the beauty of the difference. Ah, the French, vive la différence. Never forget it. Good question, Beatrice.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, well, I think that's it. And let me actually move to the next slide, and then I want to invite Gabriel and Cheryl, and we're done for today. The next slide, the next things, there's so much more that can be said. We will over time, and that's also something that we are doing in the HUB27, and that's what I want to bring to you now. And actually, we're going to start doing that in the hub a little bit more when we do our transits, is to maybe put some emphasis on quarters, so we can get more information on quarters, because there's so much more that can be said. So let me share that with you. Resources that are available to support your journey, your experimentation. I built this community for all of you who are watching the live recording, the recording, the live on Facebook or YouTube, wherever. There is this HUB27 that is available for anyone who feels resonating with us and wants to join us every Sunday during our casual Sunday on the Rising Phoenix. We're doing this. Tom and I and a lot of beautiful souls, we're coming together 10 a.m. Pacific time. So it's like 7 p.m. in Europe, 6 p.m. in Europe, 1 p.m. East Coast America. It really depends where you are in the world, but the time is for everyone to be able to join. We jump on Zoom, and everyone has a voice. Everyone can just unmute, speak, we share, we go through the transits, we take a look at the transit, we take a look at the last week, the next coming week, what's the energy of the day, the weather, we share with one another, or insights, or it's an amazing community that I built, and it's available in the HUB27. I'm gonna put the link on it so you guys can join if you're interested. This is a membership, a monthly membership. It's $14.99, so $15. I may raise it to $19.99, so $20, and that will be maybe the final price for now, because we're in the mutation, and I feel I'm mutating, and I feel I want to raise a little bit the price because there's so much value in it. It gives you access to tons of things. Let me show you how it looks like. This is kind of a Facebook, but a very private Facebook for all of us to put comments and posts and share stories. We have our weekly events. I teach breathwork on it. Some of our members are offering amazing workshops. It's a beautiful community. You will find tons of information on human design for doing your own self-study. We have self-study audios, that monthly audios from Ra. Tom has been recording Ra lectures for almost 20 years. So tons of things are available in the hub for those of you who are interested. It's amazing. It's a really good way for you to keep the momentum with human design if you have a very low budget. That's what I'm offering. I'm also offering the emergence. Tom and I have been speaking about that, talking about that, and we believe it's a good also opportunity for people who wants to keep the momentum of, you know, being in design. They don't have money to afford classes, or they took classes and you know, course and coaching, and they want to continue to have this momentum. The emergence is basically a personal ongoing support. You want something a little bit more personal, you want to have access directly to us. This is a $249 monthly membership. You have my personal phone number. You have my personal phone number on Telegram, and you have access to me, text messages, small audios, and it's an inner cycle. I only take 10 people. That's it, no more. There's few spots left, and you can cancel anytime. And at the moment someone cancel, boom, I have a new spot available. Only 10 people, and you allow me to work deeply with 10 people every day. If you want to text me every day, because every day you have some questions, and every day you feel you need a little bit of help, you can just text me. That's available for that. Also, it's really good for generators. It helps you to go back into your sacral response. That's what the emergence is. If you are struggling with your mind, you need to make a decision. You don't know how to. You just send me an audio, voice message audio. I send you back some questions, and you listen to the audio, and you can respond with your sacral. That's the goal of the emergence. We have been creating that. It's available. I'm going to put all the links in the chat and in the description of the videos. And then I completely remodel the way that Tom and I are sharing the knowledge, and I created this ultimate generator training. It's really to discover who you are and to move from your frustration to your satisfaction. It's a human design and spirit consciousness training. You have breath work, you have gene principles, you have deep spiritual principles, you have all the human design. It's 3 levels. We start with the living your design, we go with Rev ABC, we go with cartography. So you have 9 months of training that is breakdown on 3 levels. A Penta group, which is 5 people, we charge $1,500. It goes for Tom and I. Individual, it's $3,500. It's only you with Tom and I when Tom is available, but mostly with me. You have 3 months with me, weekly session. That's how I feel supporting you, and that's how my sacral respond, and I'm available to support people who wants to go in this journey. That's what is available here. If you are interested, I'm putting all the information on the chat. It will be also available on the description of the videos, so you guys can contact me on my email or contact me on Instagram. You can find me, you know, on Instagram here, BenLifeChanger. You can always text me if you have questions before starting any training, so we can see if it's a good fit, if I'm the right person, if Tom is the right person. As I say, there's a fractal line. Go find your fractal line, okay? The emergence is here. You will go to the link. You have a little description of the emergence, but that's here. And then free information. You go on my YouTube channel, Benjamin Tour, you have tons of things that are available on YouTube. It's free. You have a lot of recordings with Tom, interviews with Tom. It's amazing to watch. Just tons of things on my YouTube channel that is free. It's available for you. And if you guys feel just booking your first session, this is my link. I think I put it also in the chat. You can book your first session, see if it's a good fit, it's it for you or not. That's what is important for me. I don't care doing quantity. I don't care. I'm good. I'm financially good. What I'm interested in is to have the good quality of people who want this, who resonate with me, who are my fractal line, who resonate with Tom, working with Tom and I. That's what really interests me. So that's all your options. Now, for those of you who are projectors, because Tom and I are generator and manifesting generator, and this is mostly our focus. For those of you who are projectors, or maybe reflector, I don't know, Cheryl will say, but I would like to invite Cheryl, and she's a 6'2", a 6'2" projector, and she does amazing projector training. So Cheryl, I invite you if you want to say a few words about that, so people also get the chance to know you. Yeah.
Thank you, Ben. Ben, could you maybe show me my chart?
Yes.
Do you have it available?
Yes.
Thank you. So I teach the Living Your Design class, and I teach it in the hub for the projectors, and it's a one-on-one class. So we're really going to focus on your design, and we're going to focus also on the people in your life. So you are allowed to bring like 4 to 5 charts during the class, and we're going to look at your conditioning and your family or friends dynamic. And this class is offered in the hub. It's $450. And because I know for the projectors, you know, money is always tight and difficult, I do offer a payment plan. And I know that the energy level for the projector, you know, we're on a more low energy level. So it's a 9-week course, but it's not a strict continuance of 9 weeks. We're going to really look at our flow of energy, our level of our own energy, if we have the energy to take the class, and if you have the energy to take in information and, you know, stuff like that. So I invite you, if you're a projector, join us at the hub. You will find the information in the link, like Ben said, and, you know, just invite me to take a class. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. And I really want to emphasize all of this that I'm doing today would have not be possible without Cheryl. Cheryl has been incredibly supporting during my journey. It's been almost 7 years, almost. Yeah, 6 years, Cheryl,
yes,
that we
yes.
good friend, and we started Human Design together. And she has been an incredible guide for me to supporting during all of this. So thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
Yeah. As she said, if you are interested, you can join the hub. You can text her in the hub, and you can invite her to do projector things with her. And the last things that I want to say, Gabriel, I would like to invite you. Gabriel is a 5-1 projector, and Gabriel and I have been working on this tool on affirmation to help you to decondition from your mind. So it's an amazing tool that will be released pretty soon in the hub first, and then will be available to the general public. Gab, please, if you want to say anything. Yeah.
Thanks for the invitation. So basically this tool is about to launch soon. I'm just finishing up the technical sides to it, but basically in a nutshell, it helps to align your mind to focus on your design, your specific design based on your open and your defined centers, so that you can basically live your design a lot easier instead of forgetting from day to day, you know, when things come and go. At least you can focus on the best way to live it by listening to an audio. It's meditation music in the background, and there's affirmations, and you can repeat repeat them and just listen to them, and it just sinks deeper into your subconscious. And yeah, it's a really great tool for everybody on this journey to decondition yourself faster and to align with your design.
Yeah, thanks, Gab. Yeah, and as you guys can see, Gabriel is very passive and receptive here. 5-1 dedication, someone extremely dedicated to bring, you know, breakthrough as individual and empower the collective to, you know, be a dreamer again. So it's really amazing. It's really, really amazing. Amazing tool. I'm very excited. All right, I think that's it. Tom is also available. I don't want to speak for you, Tom, but I know Tom is available. If you do feel working with Tom, I will also put his email. Tom, that's the best way to contact you, correct? Email.
Yes, email is the way to get a direct connection. I prefer a direct connection. I like to work with people on what I call a consultation very deeply. You know, there's lots of foundation material out there. You have to have a foundation before you stack things up. But I like to go from the foundation to the building. Okay, so consultations is what I do, and you can contact me by my email, and then we'll go from there to get to Zoom and all the rest of it. And I'll tell you the deal when you contact me. No point in going through all of that at this moment. But I like to work with people one-on-one, very personally, and that's just my approach. So that's it. And did you get the joke here? The first thing old brother Ben told us, community, I don't give a rat's ass about that. And then he creates a community for us. Viva la différence and respect for the différence. This is what I love about this man. This is why I'm involved. We're finally getting to the way of doing it. We can't do the new way the way we did the old way and end up with anything other than more of the old way. So you'll see, we're taking this somewhere else. I'm going on across a migration. Get ready for a trip. If you're going with me, we're going somewhere. Okay.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. And I know money can be an issue sometimes. So if you guys really, you know, want to take classes, money is an issue, you can always text me. We can always find a way. So don't be afraid about it. I think that's it. Human design, this is our genetic individualization. It's a personal discovery tool. You know, it's personal. This is your experience. It's really personal, one person at a time. And you will resonate with the right people. You will resonate with the right people. You will find exactly what's correct for you. And that's what Tom and I are offering when we do group class or individual. It's 3 months. We take the time to decondition, to help you to digest, to help you to integrate the new knowledge, to support the transformation of your cells. We bring breathwork, we bring the Ancient Revelation book. Tom is a master when it comes about the Course in Love, Course in Miracles. I learned so much from Tom. So it's fantastic. It really is. You have the emergence, you have the hub, you have YouTube. Tons of things are available if you resonate with us. And I'm very much excited and looking forward to seeing you in 3 months for the next quarter, and otherwise to see you in the hub. So, you know, every Sunday. I would like to invite maybe Gri if you respond, or maybe Vilborg if you respond as well. Bjorn, I would like to invite you. My Vikings, if you guys have anything to say. I know you are beautiful brother and sister in the hub. And I think we have Nina and Sean as well. So you guys, I would like to invite you, if you have anything to say with today, you're very welcome.
I can say that I love the hub.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I have been, you know, I was maybe for 1 year knowing human design, and I never found my place. But when I responded momently on your invitation to the hub, and I was just, what am I doing? And I have been so excited every Sunday, and I love this meeting every Sunday, and I have learned so much in this short time than I have been trying to learn for that whole more than a year before. So I have found my tribe in the hub. So I really love this place. I love this space, and you have so much wisdom, both you, Ben, and Tom. I suck in everything that you say almost and try to learn something.
Yeah. Thank you.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Vilborg. Yeah.
Thank you, Vilborg.
Yeah.
That is such a mutual highway we're on. We learn from our students as much as we can teach them. And one of the beautiful things that we learn here, there's no one up, one down here, is that this information is transferable and can actually have a profoundly beautiful effect. We see it in the smiles on your faces. We don't, we see the reactions, we see your shoulders drop and you go, oh my God, there's actually an alternative to the nonsense. Yes, there is. Okay. If it's not transferable, it's useless. And so, without students, what's a teacher? And a good teacher never, ever stops being a student. That's the circle that's unbroken. We're not experts. You know what an expert is? An X is an unknown quantity and a spurt's a small release under pressure. Why would you want to listen to those idiots anyway? But when we can learn and teach, learn and teach, learn and teach, this is inclusive. This is non-competitive. This is cooperative. This is all getting in the same boat and paddling in the same direction to get where we're going. Hear that cross of migration speaking? We're going somewhere, folks, and you're going to like where we're going better than where we've been. So thank you for that, Vilborg. And anybody else?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like to say something. Like Tom, I have been on this journey my whole life. And in my age, just to be part of a community and not be the only strange guy anymore. It's so pleasant. It's a highlight in my week to spend time with you. Just so I'm really, yeah. If you can't live with the family you have to make a new one, and we are making a new one without competition. Wow, just thank you, and for that appreciation, gratitude, love, and brotherhood and sisterhood. I just love you all. Thank you. One question. This is a technical question concerning the Rave Mandala. I am not so familiar with astrology. I have never been, but the last year I have dived into it. 1 hour before we started today, I watched the stars. I live in such a place so I can see the star field, the stars every evening. And I just looked this evening, and Jupiter and Saturn, they were aligned to Capricorn this evening. But look at the mandala. The mandala, the correlation in the mandala says that the transit of today, they are this waterman, this next after Capricorn, Aquarius. Why? Why is it so? Because
Bjorn, what is the conjunction? If they're conjunct, what is the conjunction? The answer to your question will be in reading the line that they're conjunct in.
Yeah, just I am watching the space outside. Yeah, that's it.
Well, go to your just now and find out where they're at, and you'll see why they're conjunct and what they're bringing.
Yeah.
You'll definitely see it. I mean, you just go to the I Ching and read what's there. Yeah, and you'll get it because the language is there.
Yeah, when I read the I Ching, for me it's logic. But when I look at the mandala, I just look at it as Jupiter is in 49.5 at the moment.
49.5.
Yeah.
All about resources.
Yeah,
Practical resources.
it's a very good observation, and I think we can keep that for Sunday. So I don't want to take questions. I just wanted to have some, feedbacks from you and comments, but we can totally do that on Sunday. Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Very good.
Absolutely. All right. I don't have any more sacral energy, so I'm closing the door. You can hear my channel of rhythm is like, okay, done. Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Bjorn. Totally, we can totally talk about that Sunday, and it's a very good observation. So we can have that Sunday. All right, guys, all of you, thank you for everyone being here. It was really nice to have you. I think that's it. Tom, do you have any final words?
Thanks for showing up, everybody. This is what family looks and feels like.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you. So it will be a recording. It will be available on my YouTube channel, so you can always have access to the recording. Thank you to all of you. Sean, it's good seeing you. Say hi to Nina if she's here with you. Love you, big guys. Thanks to everyone, and looking forward to seeing you in the hub or for classes or trainings. And I'm always excited to hear about your journey. Excited hearing about the wonderful things that have happened to you in your life. So thank you so much, and yeah, bye for now. Feel free to unmute and to say bye. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye and bye. Hi and bye.
Bye.
Bye.